Good morning, welcome back to the show. 10:51 is the time. Let's talk about Jew hunts. Now, the sort of thing you thought happened in Berlin in the 1930s, but it's being accused of happening in places like Brighton, Sheffield and elsewhere in this country. Is it actually a Jew hunt? Well, I mean, it depends on your perspective, but people going door to door, often the Green Party, and saying, you know, will you join us in our ban on buying anything or investing at all in Israel? And if you don't support us, can we note down your name and where you live? Well, why are they doing that? Well, let's talk about this with Alex Hearn. He's the director of Labour Against Antisemitism and joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
I wish there didn't have to be a group called Labour Against Antisemitism, or indeed anybody against antisemitism. It should just be a given in a civilised society. Any political party feels that way. Your party has had its problems. It's still the only political party in this country that's actually, had a formal, basically, ruling that it has a problem with anti-Semitism and racism extraordinarily. Everyone thought it was all going to be sorted out under Keir Starmer, but now we have the Green Party, we've got your party, we've got a number of other people on the left of your party where, frankly, what many Jews would consider anti-Semitism is absolutely rife. What is going on?
Yes, we've seen the rise of the populist left, and it's very frightening for the Jewish community. They talk in the language of Soviet-era anti-Zionism, which was a cover for classic anti-Jewish racism. So we see this rolling out with the example of Matt Lucas, who's never spoken about the conflict in Gaza. And yet a man tried to publicly humiliate him by forcing him to take a purity test.
While he was on the tube, he was on an escalator on the tube. And there's a video doing the rounds of Matt Lucas. Matt Lucas, I'm not a particular fan of some of his politics, particularly on the issue of women's rights versus trans rights. And I don't care what someone's religion is, you've got the right to walk on the tube and not be harangued because you have a particular religion, that you have to have a particular view on an issue.
Exactly. So he was no longer a comedian, no longer an actor, no longer a presenter. All of his achievements and identity were boiled down to just being a Jew. And Jews need to apparently justify our existence because we're collectively responsible for the real or imagined crimes of a foreign country by the self-appointed righteous people, TM. But of course, no one should have to justify their existence. And now, as you said, people could be coming to your home to check your ideological purity about Jews in Sheffield, Brighton, Bristol, London.
Although they can come to my home. I mean, I literally invite them, come to my home and see how that works out for you.
Yeah, they're knocking on doors. They're making lists. What do they do
they're making. Why? Yeah. What are they making lists for? They said this is just normal canvassing and campaigning, but people have been challenging them. And I think basically, if you do see this, Clara, you need to go out and challenge these people peacefully, absolutely. But police are now investigating a group of pro-Palestine canvassers accused of engaging in a Jew hunt as they went door to door. This is in Sheffield, and they're members of the Sheffield Apartheid Free Zone. I mean, what on earth is that about? The idea that people of Sheffield should be worrying about what's going on in the Middle East. Yet we're all allowed to have our views on international affairs. But the idea that this is like an absolutely vital issue. And again, I find it fascinating. The people who are campaigning about Palestine, and they're welcome to that view, they're welcome to be concerned about what's happening in Gaza, they're welcome to criticise the Israeli government, as long as it's based on facts, not made up nonsense about genocide, which is simply factually untrue. But they seem to be remarkably concerned just with one government in the Middle East, which they can accuse of wrongdoing, remarkably relaxed about other governments in the Middle East who are brutalising, murdering, torturing and imprisoning their people. They don't seem to be bothered by those people at all. Syrians not bothered, Iranians they're not bothered, Saudis not bothered by any of them.
They're completely fixated. They're like a sort of totalitarian enforcement brigade. And you're right, the footage appears to show a woman in Sheffield being physically attacked, because when opposing Jews forms part of your identity, being challenged can feel like a personal attack. And this lot is supported by a Green Party MP. Now, Jews know very well how anti-Zionist campaigns go. No one is ever pure enough for these inquisitions. Jews fled the Soviet Union, they were expelled from communist Poland and fled the Middle East, except for Israel, because of anti-Zionist campaigns.
Yeah.
And this will make Jews feel extremely unsafe.
Yeah, and again, it is possible to criticise Israel and not be anti-Semitic. Of course it is. However, it is often used as a cover, and certainly most of the people that I know who feel very strongly anti-Israel, again, the only real explanation is you just got a problem with the only Jewish country in the world, and it's as simple as that, and that's the issue. Zach Polanski, who himself comes from a Jewish family, he basically is covers for the Green Party's policies on this, but saying, I'm Jewish myself and I criticise Israel, so that's okay. But the Green Party seems to be, I mean, I would say it's a good thing. They're less and less obsessed with their green hysteria, but terribly, terribly worrying and dangerous thing that their focus seems to be almost entirely now Gaza.
Oh, no, the climate's fixed now. No need to talk about that at all. It's all about Gaza. Look, Zach Polanski changed his tune a couple of years ago. It seems to me quite opportunistic. And now Green Party activists are reviving anti-Semitic Soviet campaigns from the 1970s.
And that is where it came from. This is absolutely where it started, a lot of this. What do you make of the, I mean, again, I suppose it's true, Trump has this anti-Semitism czar. He's Ambassador Yehuda Kaploun, and he's basically said that the hatred of Jews has been allowed to run amok in Britain. What do you say to that?
I mean, there's something in that. The CST recorded the second ever highest total, showing we've reached a new normal since October the 7th. And the pretext of Israel-Palestine was used in a racist context against Jews for the majority of cases. Yeah. And after October the 7th, and after the Manchester synagogue attack, and after the Bondi Beach killings in Sydney, we saw a spike in racist attacks against Jews in Britain. So these were celebratory, and this shows us that it excites some people, it empowers them to want to harm more Jews.
Yeah, absolutely. A message I say to people, you know, whether you're Jewish or not, whether you live in a Jewish area or not, if you don't speak out on this, you're part of the problem. People have to speak out. This is the canary in the coal mine. People need to speak out. And I say, these people are welcome to come to my door any bloody day of the week. Come on in, let's play. Alex Hearn, Director, Labour Against Antisemitism, thank you. Tom Slater, listening to all of that.
Such a depressing reminder that there are so many people who run around claiming to care about racism, claiming to care about cohesion, yet the world's oldest hatred makes a roaring comeback, that it puts into, frankly, the dust all of the conversations we used to have about microaggressions and whatnot. Anti-Semitic violence on our streets, anti-Semitic harassment on our streets, threats of violence, graffiti, so on and so forth. And they're not just staring at their shoelaces, they're often the same people engaging in it. So this shames the entire anti-racist.
And again, people who decide, again, I know I talk about it a lot, people go, why are you always talking about this? Because it's a problem we need to talk about. And because you might not think it's a problem for you now, it will be a problem for you now. These same people will come for you next. I'm promising you that is what happens. That's what history teaches us.